And thanks everybody for tuning into our meteorology segment. Some interesting weather in the West Pacific especially. We'll get to it first, looking at lightning around the U.S. and Mexico and the Caribbean. So there's the past about 4 hours from the NASA GOES lightning mapper. Here's a real-time lightning map, and today's video was a recorded video, not a live stream. We do regularly stream live to twitch.tv/smAsho. Today's video was instead recorded. So there's the current state of affairs when it comes to lightning. Quite a bit of lightning here south of Mexico. And I like to use realtimelightningmaps.org when I hear thunder. And here's this tropical typhoon type thing off of the coast of Taiwan. It's expected to move to the north, and I would anticipate that it's going to weaken. Anyway, this is the European forecast. We're going to advance this. You're looking at pressure right now, and we're expecting this to go to the north and the west. So there you can see it's just creeping, barely even moving here. Anyway, there's where we expect it to be at 1 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Barely moved there, just kind of stalled in between the Ryukyu Islands of Japan and Taiwan. Next, looking at sea surface temperature anomaly here. And some quite anomalously cold temperature water there in between Japan and Taiwan, this area right here. And that's not going to help strengthen the system. I just wanted to see if there was hot or cold water there. And you can see quite a bit of cold water there. So that should serve to at least not strengthen it. It's not being drawn toward that area. That's part of the reason why it's not getting drawn in that direction. Let's take a look at the surface winds. And there's the surface wind environment. And let's zoom in and get a reading here. So pretty significant winds here. Only 64. That's not even hurricane force yet. Close to hurricane force winds there. At least we saw 67 miles per hour. Zoom in a little bit more here. There's some hurricane force winds. So this is expected to be the equivalent of a Category 2 hurricane. So maybe approaching about 100 miles per hour for the wind speeds. So here is the jet stream environment. And you can see there is a jet stream component there. A counterclockwise rotation. And let's zoom out to look at the jet streams of the entire eastern world. As incoherent jet streams continue in the northern hemisphere and blows backwards across the western Pacific and eastern Indian Ocean. It's a backwards jet stream, folks. Here are the surface winds zoomed out. Strong winds continuing in the Southern Ocean south of Australia. Here are surface winds of the western world. Rotate that a little bit. There we go. And here are the jet streams, including quite meridional jet stream flow here once again in the northern hemisphere. You can see these zigzag patterns here. Meridional jet stream flow at its finest. And there's some trapping mechanisms happening here in the southwestern U.S. We'll get to that momentarily. First, weather.gov map. And that trapping behavior over there is causing a bunch of flash flood watches. We've also got extreme heat advisories and some fog advisories. Also, an excessive heat watch in a small area here near the Missouri-Kansas border. And here is your temperature anomaly from Tropical Tidbits. That's for Western Europe, by the way. Seeing some hot temperatures here in the UK. Cold temperatures in the east. Expecting a cold snap here in Spain and Portugal as well. And that's the GFS forecast for temperature anomaly into Saturday. That's Saturday at 1800 Universal Time for Europe. Next, thanks to our patrons, the true source of funding for the content. If you're watching the videos on BitChute, please consider subscribing over on YouTube. You're missing like 80% of our content. And consider becoming a patron, as we're paid precisely nothing to put the videos on BitChute. Patreon.com/smAsho. We just put up some updates for patrons only. Some astronomy/cosmology papers. Patreon.com/smAsho. Thanks again, patrons. So here's the infrared animation of this tropical typhoon off the coast of Taiwan. Great bit of imagery there from AccuWeather.com. And there's an article about it here. Typhoon In-fa churns in West Pacific on course toward China and Taiwan. So you can see, we just showed you it's expected to stall for about a day or so. They're expecting it to strengthen as it moves to the northwest. I don't exactly see why that would be, but we'll update you on this in the future, probably in tomorrow's meteorology segment. Anyway, there are the storm tracks and the wind forecasts and so on. Tell your friends and foes in the Far East about the channel. And congratulations on finding the channel, by the way. Thanks to all of our new subscribers. So we don't only talk about space. We're not only spaced out on the channel. We also talk about meteorology, as the understanding of atmospheric physics seems to be in high demand these days. People don't seem to understand how to forecast their weather, so we're helping out a little bit with that. Here's a U.S. Doppler radar map, and this is from radar.weather.gov. And let's see what's going on in the cloud layer. As it's not that rainy, although there is some rain in the southwest there, centered on the Four Corners region, where Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona have a four-way border. Let's blow this up one more mode. There we go. There's what's going on in the cloud layer. That's the NASA GOES Interactive Weather Satellites shortwave radiation map. And it looks like mostly clear skies over the lower 48. Here's a water vapor map, and you can see this moisture here constrained. That's a low. This is a high. This is a high. Which is really making the whole system an anticyclone. Honestly, it's rotating clockwise overall here. And it has to do with the jet stream flow here, and this dry mass of air is holding in all this moisture down here. And that's why it's stagnating, and you're seeing your weather patterns flow in odd directions around the Four Corners region there. So again, there's the U.S. Doppler radar. We'll zoom in a little bit on that area since we just featured it. So some steady moisture there around that area, and centered around Phoenix as well. Once again, there's the cloud layer for your recap. And there's the water vapor map. Once again, thanks for tuning into our meteorology segment. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. smAsho, signing off from the Smash News Network. Least busted, name in news.